Hello everyone. Today we'll be taking a look, analysing and predicting upcoming changes for the Reaper in the Job Actions trailer. We'll first look through the video, then we'll do a deeper analysis on what changed for Reaper. The Reaper starts off with Shadow of Death, Arcane Circle, Soul Slice, Gluttony, and then upgraded versions of Gibbet and Gallows. It then uses Plentiful Harvest, which no longer grants 50 soul gauge. Instead, it directly grants the Reaper one free use of Enshroud. The Reaper starts the Enshroud phase with a new crystal action that was used in the benchmark, before doing the normal Enshroud phase combo with Void Reaping, Cross Reaping, Lemuria's Slice, Void Reaping, Cross Reaping, Lemuria's Scythe, and finally Communio. He follows up with a Harvest Moon, which has finally been changed to grant 10 soul gauge, and egresses away. He ends the showcase with a new joint attack with the avatar, before regressing back to the target. From the Job Actions video, it doesn't look like Reaper changed all that much. While I do wonder if there are any more changes beyond what was shown, let's first look at all the shiny new toys we are going to receive. First, we have the new Gibbet, and Gallows. Here's a comparison between the current version and the new version. Interestingly, even though the character animation is similar to the current Gibbet and Gallows, the action effect has some extra lime colors, making the ability stand out as most, if not all of Reaper's abilities are either red, cyan, or purple. Despite that, it seems likely to be a simple potency boost, as the amount of shroud gauge granted is the same as the current version, unless it happens to grant some other effects. Presumably, an upgrade to Gibbet and Gallows means that there's likely an upgrade to the AoE variant, Guillotine. While this wouldn't be the only time that they add a variant of a skill without showcasing it in the Job Actions trailer, such as for Kaeshi Hinganbana and Kaeshi Gokien for Samurai in the Shadowbringers Job trailer, it is still a very rare omission, especially when they could have followed it up with Soul Scythe and then this new ability. Unless, if we rewind a bit, we would see that it was Gluttony that allowed the use of upgraded Gibbet and Gallows. Since we have no confirmation that upgraded Gibbet and Gallows are permanent upgrades like the usual combo trait upgrades, I'm going to guess that Gibbet and Gallows are only getting upgraded when used after Gluttony. That will explain why they didn't showcase the Guillotine, as they will have to wait another minute to use Gluttony again. That said, if Gibbet and Gallows are only upgraded after Gluttony, and the potency is high enough, we could see Gluttony being part of a 2-minute burst window. Next, we have the Crystal attack, which I'm going to call Crystal Burst. In both the Job Action trailer and the benchmark, Crystal Burst was used only after the Reaper was in Enshroud. With an effect and colour scheme similar to other actions we already have in the Enshroud window, it's very likely triggered by entering Enshroud itself. Usually, I will look at whether the aura emitted is blue or yellow to see if it's an OGCD or GCD action, but the animation kind of obscures the player model, so it's hard to confirm. Instead, I'm going to guess that since it involves crystals similar to OGCD actions Lemuria's Slice and Lemuria's Scythe, Crystal Burst is going to be an OGCD. However, if it really is an OGCD, it will make the Enshroud window kind of cramped. Outside of already using Shadow of Death, we really only have 2 OGCD slots to use in our Enshroud windows. I think gameplay wise, it will make more sense to be a GCD, but thematic wise, I think it would make more sense to be an OGCD. It wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would make Enshroud windows kinda spicy. More importantly, I wonder if there is any additional effects. Surely it isn't just a plain action that just does damage, right? And finally, we have the ranged joint attack by both the Reaper and the Avatar, which I'm going to call Joint Creeping. Once again, it's kind of hard to tell if the aura emitted is blue or yellow, but it seems like there's no aura at all. Actions without aura are usually but not limited to, spells, which are typically on the GCD. In the past, actions without aura can be OGCD, like Reaper's very own Arcane Crest, or can be a GCD, like Paladin's Atonement. So, which one is it? Personally, I think it's a spell, which means it will likely be on the GCD, since Reaper is kind of a mix between a melee and a dark magic user. It would fit right at home along with Harvest Moon, Communio, and Harp. So the question now is, what's the trigger for this new action that we're getting? I think there are 3 possible actions: Harvest Moon, Communio, and Plentiful Harvest. Of the 3, I think Harvest Moon is the least likely to be the trigger, since the thematics don't fit at all. But I still think it's worth to mention it, since Joint Reaping was used directly after Harvest Moon in the video. Between Communio and Plentiful Harvest, I think both are equally likely and would fit in thematically and gameplay wise. Communio is the culmination of the Reaper working together with their avatar. A joint attack with the avatar right after just fits thematically. Gameplay wise, it makes sense too, as adding follow-ups to finishers seem to be the trend these days. It would also help the Reaper too, as it means that we would have one more ranged GCD to use every minute to disengage when needed. Meanwhile, Plentiful Harvest is the only action we have right now where the Reaper attacks with the avatar simultaneously, which is what Joint Reaping is all about. And gameplay wise, a single extra GCD every 2 minutes would fit right in with the other 2-minute follow-ups coming in this expansion, like Ninja's Tenchi Jin follow-up or Red Mage's Manification follow-up. Additionally, just one new button for our burst window could be enough to keep our double and shroud windows alive. Personally, I would rather much prefer a Communio follow-up rather than a Plentiful Harvest follow-up, as I think being able to cast more often is just cooler and would make the button more interesting, as you'd be thinking more about when you can hold it and when you can cast it, rather than just forcing it within our 2-minute windows. This is under the assumption that we still have an interesting 2-minute window to execute. One last thing about this action I want to bring up is regarding the use of egress before the Joint Reaping. No, it's not because this new action is Enhanced Harp 2. Instead, I think they did this to show that Joint Reaping is a ranged attack. And remember earlier when I said that this new action is a spell? I think it has a cast time, and using Ingress or Egress would make it instant cast just like Harp. And that's it for new actions for the Reaper. Only 4 new actions, 5 if you count Enhanced Guillotine, which is surprisingly light. If we follow the trend of previous expansions, it's likely that we'll be getting new actions and traits at level 92, 94, 96, 98, and 100. If we split all these new actions that we are getting into each level bracket, we can see that there's probably 2 more unaccounted upgrades, one of which could be the Enhanced Harp upgrade mentioned during the live letter. This makes me wonder what else they have in stock for us. Perhaps another stack of Soul Slice? That will make double and shroud windows, if it still exists, not as punishing, and should also help in keeping the gauge neutral or positive. Or maybe Communio could give us one extra use of Harvest Moon, which should make Harvest Moon much more versatile and let us actually use it more than once each fight. It would also explain why they choose to use Harvest Moon after Communio in the trailer as well, especially when they didn't show the Reaper using Soul Sour before the fight to charge up Harvest Moon. Our current kit is a well-oiled machine, but there's definitely space for more improvements. Usually, this would be the part of the video where I talk about the actions that were not used in the video and is likely to be removed. But in Reaper's case, I think their kit is still very young, and there's no standout bloat button to remove. There's a lot of actions unused, so I'll just put it up on the screen for you to make your own speculation. And that's it. Here's all the changes that the Reaper will be receiving in Dawntrail that we can interpret from the Job Actions trailer. But before I end the video, let's take a quick look at the benchmark datamine and see if we can connect any more dots. Just to get it out of the way, we have confirmation that all 3 Soul Spenders are indeed getting upgraded actions. But most notably, Gluttony and Communio will change into new actions. Unlike with the Dragon, I think the mystery of which button becoming which action is a lot more straightforward. First of all, since we know that Crystal Burst is usable during Enshroud, it only makes sense that it wouldn't share a button with Communio. Secondly, We already cannot use Gluttony during Enshroud, so it makes sense to have the new Enshroud action take the button of Gluttony. Lastly, the same can be said of Communal being unusable outside of Enshroud, similar to Joint Crossing. Therefore, I think it's highly likely that Gluttony will become Crystal Burst during Enshroud, and Communal will become Joint Reaping probably after Enshroud. This button mapping further supports the theory I have earlier that Joint Reaping is essentially a follow-up to Communal, just like how Red Mage's Finisher combo and Paladin's Conflator combo are all on the same button. Right, this is the actual end of the video. While it may seem like Reaper isn't getting many new toys this expansion, small changes in our kit can cause big impacts, especially on our burst windows. Our double shroud burst window is already so tight, I'm not sure we can afford squeezing in more than one extra GCD. That said, we still don't have concrete information on potency numbers or our gauge generation, so anything's still possible. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any feedback on this video, please let me know as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye.